video, we'll briefly discuss activity-based costing, ABC. I will briefly discuss each learning objective in this chapter. A traditional costing system allocates manufacturing overhead to products on the basis of a predetermined overhead rate using direct labor hours, direct labor cost, or machine hours. ABC does not replace an existing job order or process cost system. ABC assigns overhead into various cost pools in an effort to provide more accurate cost information. So ABC supplements rather than replaces these cost systems. It is important to note overhead costs are the same under either traditional or ABC. A traditional costing system allocates manufacturing overhead to products using direct labor hours, direct labor cost, or machine hours. Under this approach, all of the overhead costs are put into one bucket and allocated to products using one activity base. Let's assume our estimated annual manufacturing overhead is $156,000, and we expect to use 8,000 direct labor hours. The predetermined overhead rate is $19.50 per direct labor hour. We will use this amount to assign overhead to products. In ABC, we identify activity cost pools. I like to think of an activity cost pool as a bucket in which costs are accumulated. In this example, we identified 3 cost pools. Next, we allocate overhead to each cost pool. Machine setups are assigned $16,000, machining $110,000, and packing and shipping $30,000. The sum of these costs must equal $156,000. Each activity cost pool has a cost driver that has a strong correlation to the cost accumulated in each cost pool. In this example, we identified number of setups as the cost driver for the machine setup cost pool, whereas machine hours is the cost driver for the machining cost pool. The number of orders is the cost driver for packing and shipping. There are 4 steps to ABC. In this course, you will be given step 1 and 2. So you need to calculate step 3, which I like to think of as a predetermined overhead rate for each cost pool, and step 4. In step 1, overhead costs are assigned to the appropriate activity cost pool. In this example, $156,000 of overhead is assigned to 3 cost pools: machine setup, machining, and packaging and shipping. After costs are assigned to the activity cost pools, the company must identify a cost driver that has a strong correlation to the cost accumulated in each cost pool. This is step 2. The cost drivers are setups, machine hours, and orders. Their expected use is also provided. Step 3 computes an activity-based overhead rate for each cost pool by dividing the estimated overhead by the number of cost drivers expected to be used. For example, $16,000 was assigned to the machine setup cost pool, and the cost driver is the number of setups. So we divide $16,000 by 40 to arrive at an activity-based overhead rate of $400. To allocate overhead cost to the 2 products, we multiply the number of cost drivers expected to be used per product by the activity-based overhead rate from step 3. The sum of the overhead assigned to product A and B must equal $156,000. ABC has 3 primary benefits. It creates more cost pools, which result in a more accurate product cost. It also leads to enhanced control over cost. When implementing ABC, managers increase their awareness of the activities performed by the company. This helps managers classify activities as value added or non-value added. Lastly, ABC results in better management decisions. ABC can be very beneficial, but it also has its limitations. ABC can be expensive to use. It is also more complex than traditional systems. Lastly, ABC does not offer complete accuracy. As a result, some arbitrary allocations will remain. The overall objective of using ABC in service industries is to improve the costing of services performed. The general approach to costing is the same. Accumulate overhead cost by activity cost pools, and identify and use cost drivers to assign the cost pools to the services. The objective of just-in-time processing is to eliminate manufacturing inventories by using a pull approach. This begins with the customer placing an order, which then triggers the manufacturing of the product.